And as I just mentioned, I mean, the largest real estate IPO for the JSE ever. This is obviously very unprecedented that we're seeing this. You're also delving into very interesting markets that most listed property companies are not doing right now. You've got aspirations in Zambia. Tell us a little bit more about what you plan to do once the listing goes ahead.
Hi, Eleni. Thanks for that. Hermans Roman Properties will be an offering which is unique to South Africa. It will be the first of its kind, given that this portfolio is the first portfolio to be listed, which includes a substantial asset outside the borders of South Africa, and as you indicated, it's located in Lusaka in Zambia. We're very excited about this opportunity, and we believe it's this that's really going to set us apart and distinguish ourselves from the other listed companies on the real estate sector of the JSE.
Well, let's just touch on, Leslie, if we could just touch on the overall... If we could just touch exactly the property in Lusaka, Leslie, if we could just delve into that asset and just give us the criteria in terms of why you're actually heading into this region and what was the catalyst in securing that specific property. Are you finding that there's a lot of South African retailers, for example, within this space? What is the actual criteria?
Yeah, there are a couple of investment criteria which speaks to that. I think the key investment highlight, or one of the key investment highlights here, is that this property, which is denominated in US dollars, has been acquired at a property yield of about 8%, whereas your cost of borrowings is substantially less than that at about 5%. So this differential is most certainly yield enhancing to the portfolio. A large percentage of the income in this particular asset, Monday Hill in Lusaka in Zambia, is derived from South African national retailers as part of their expansion into sub-Saharan Africa.
Let's just delve into the other assets as well, Leslie. We're not only looking at this property asset in Zambia, we're looking at other properties, and they're predominantly based here in South Africa. One of the biggest concern right now, because you're looking at retail, you're also looking at office space. What about the tenant failure? Could you give us an indication of how it stands and what it looks like right now within the properties that you're interested in?
Yeah, our primary market is in South Africa. So the vast percentage, or the major portion of our income, is derived from South African tenants. That accounts for about 70% of the income of the company. In order to mitigate risk and loss, what we have is a portfolio that has a very high concentration of South African national retailers as well as well-known corporates in the portfolio. So our tenant composition has a strong tenant covenant profile.
Leslie, tell us also on estimated rental values. One of the concerns that we have seen with property companies is the fact that as demand slumps in certain areas, you see the rental values also falling in tandem. How do you plan to secure various contracts? What is your strategy in this regard?
Yeah, our strategy is to be invested in growth economies. South Africa continues to show positive growth. Zambia even shows better growth in GDP than South Africa, and it also exceeds the average growth in GDP of countries in sub-Saharan Africa. So Zambia is a very attractive market for us from a retail sector, and what we've seen in this particular asset is strong trading densities being generated by the South African national retailers that have a presence in this particular property.
Leslie, if we could also just touch on the dividend yield, because this is what most investors are excited about. At least I was talking to Daniel Kraus from News Trading, and he was very delighted at the fact that you're going to be offering quite a high dividend. Give us your policy when it comes to the dividend, and whether it is something that's going to continue for years to come, or is it just a sweetener for investors right now?
Yeah, we do have an attractive distribution policy for unit holders. Our anticipated distribution yield for the first financial year is at 8.7%. I think we have a very strong management team in place which will be able to manage these assets in order to ensure the continued growth in income and the continued growth in the distribution yield on this particular portfolio.
Fantastic, Leslie. We have to leave it there. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Great to have you on the program.